welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a review of some of the products from About Face Beauty. So I've wanted to try the brand for quite a while, and I finally picked up a few products. So I picked up 2 of the matte paints, 1 of the glitter paints, and then 1 of the new lipsticks and 1 of the shadow sticks. And I've been playing with these for about a week or so and have some thoughts. I'm going to put on a few of the products, talk about those, and then talk about some of the other ones that I'm not going to apply in today's video. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Colin, and I am a non-binary Latinx scientist and lover of makeup. And I'm particularly drawn to indie makeup and high-end makeup. And I tend to take a pretty analytical approach to my makeup reviews, my makeup collection in general. And I have new content every week, so I'd love to have you subscribe. Okay, so I haven't filmed in like 12 days or something because of the trip I just went on for an interview. So I'm happy to be back home and have some time to film. I still have a long list of things that I want to film, so there will be a lot of stuff coming, but it'll be slow to build back up because I don't have anything pre-filmed, and I was, out of town for 5 days. So getting back in the swing of things is good, but a little stressful trying to find the time. So I picked up these products and I got them before I went on my trip. So I played with them a bit then and then over the last couple days again. I have wanted to try About Face since they launched, and I finally took the plunge recently because I had a 20% off code because Reese's Dead did a review and I think like a sponsored video and had 20% off. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna finally do it. I'm gonna use the little bit of money I'm spending on makeup this month to buy some things. Technically that was January, but they came pretty fast and I have mixed feelings about them. And we'll go into that in a little bit. So if you don't know, About Face is Halsey, the singer's makeup brand. I really respect Halsey. I like Halsey as a musician and as an artist, and I think as a brand that they've done some really interesting things, and I really like what they've done so far. So I've been very intrigued and following this whole time, and it finally felt time to try them out. I could swatch a couple things at Ulta, and then because there was I had a discount, I ordered from their website. Shipping came pretty fast. There will be 0 sirens all day, no noise, and then I sit down to film and immediately siren after siren. So I've been very interested to try them. I really like liquid eyeshadows. I have quite a few from a bunch of different brands, and I'm working on a big liquid eyeshadow comparison video, so that should be coming in the next few weeks. But they have some really unique formula or colors in their formula, so I really wanted to try some of these. It was hard to narrow it down, but I did pick up 2. I picked up Infinity, which is a eggplant shade, and then Hidden Garden, which is a gray, but there's a bit of a green undertone to it. I noticed when I was watching people online where I was like, there looks like there's a little bit of an olive to that, which I'm a sucker for. And then I swatched it and I was like, yeah, it does pull a little green, so I was very intrigued by that. And then I got one of the fractals. This is the shade Fracture. This is what I'm gonna put on today in the video. I'm glad they switched this to the same packaging. I did not like the packaging this was originally, and that's part of why I didn't order them. And then I got the shade Actual Ambrosia in the shadow stick, which I was very intrigued by because I've been searching for the right one and done kind of taupe shade, and that looked like it might be an option. And then I got one of the new Cherry Pick lipsticks, and I got the shade The Cranberries because I had to. 1, they're one of my favorite bands, and 2, the color looked perfect. And if you're curious about the rest of my makeup, I have just my Kosas concealer on. I wanted to do a minimal base today because I'm just going to run a couple errands and then go watch Drag Race. So I didn't want a bunch of foundation or anything, so I just have my Kosas concealer. I am trying out the new Milk Makeup contour stick, which I so far really do like. And then I have my Haus Labs bronzer on, and then I got one of the new Haus Labs blushes. They come in the same kind of compact, but they're mirrored, so they're very reflective, and it's the mirror I'm gonna probably use. And then I got the shade Pomelo Peach, and it is beautiful. The formula is really interesting. It's not quite the same as the bronzer, and I'll probably have a video about this next week when I've used it a little bit more. Okay. So this is the Cherry Pick Lip Color Butter. So I did email customer service about this because some of the promo material said that it had avocado oil in it, which I'm allergic to. And so I emailed and said, like, here's the picture. Does it have avocado? Because it's not listed in the ingredients list, but it is in this promo stuff. And they checked, they said, we'll double check with manufacturing and stuff. And they said, no, there's no avocado. So it was very helpful. Their customer service was great. This is the shade The Cranberries. This is a like tinted but fairly pigmented tinted like lip balm kind of consistency, and it is great. They recommend a couple pumps with a little push on the bottom. And I've worn this quite a bit, and I really like this. It's not the longest lasting lipstick, so if you're going for long lasting, you know, pick like a matte lip or something, but really nice. So the shade is kind of a 90s brown, like a red brown. It's really interesting. But I have worn this quite a bit. Took this on the trip with me, wore it a lot. I almost wore it for the interview, but I ended up wearing my Lisa Eldridge lipstick for the interview. And I found I like this where I rub my lips together and have it a little sheared out, but you can build it up quite a bit and have a really opaque lip. And it's really pretty. It smells delicious. Like, it smells like something I want to eat, like a candy, like a fruity candy. And it's hydrating, it feels nice. It's just been, this is the thing that I'm the happiest about in my order, and I want to get some more shades. There's like a peachy one and a couple other colors that just look really pretty, that I really want to get. Not that I need them, but I want to. Okay, so I'm gonna do some comparisons in a little bit, but for now I'm gonna apply the fractal paint. So this is the second thing that I like the most. This is really great. It's really sparkly. They do call it a glitter shadow, but it's not just pure glitter. It is like a sparkly shimmer, and it is beautiful and definitely dries down to a smudge proof consistency. I do have some eye primer down, and I do find that you do need eye primer with these products, but it's so pretty. So I'm gonna put a little bit on, I'll scoot in. It's got a little different doe foot than the other ones, but it's so pretty. It's very sparkly, but not overly. I was actually concerned it would be more sparkly than it is. And you can use your finger or a brush to blend it out. So what I've been doing is putting it down and then just blending the edges. And I feel like as you blend it, you do get a little bit more sparkle. I'm gonna do a little bit more, but you don't need much, and it definitely dries pretty fast and lasts for a very long time, I've found. And it's one of those, like, I've used other ones where as you rub them, sometimes the glitter kind of comes up. This one I haven't had that issue. I do think it doesn't have a lot of base color, so it's not like a Lisa Eldridge where it has a strong base that you can blend out, but there is a bit of a base. But this is also significantly cheaper. This is like, I think the Lisa Eldridge are 26 and this is 16. So there's a big price difference there. And then if I want, I'll put a little bronzer in the crease just to add a little extra definition, but I've done this basic eye look a couple times and it's been very nice. I'm gonna do the other side and then throw on some mascara real quick before I move on to talking about the other shadows. Okay, so I threw on a little bit of mascara and then I'm just taking a little bit of bronzer and running it through the crease around the edge just to add a little bit of definition. I don't think you need to. Sometimes I want just sparkle, but I feel like I want just a little bit of that definition right there. One thing I really love about the shadow, I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but like there's lots of gold, pink, yellow, some maybe teal sparkle. There's lots of sparkle to it. It's a really sparkly, like not chunky glitter, but like in a smooth but really sparkly formula. It's really pretty, and I will probably want to get some more of these. My best friend got the blue one, and I do want to try that one out. I haven't been able to yet because I haven't had time, but I have a feeling I will like it and probably get one myself. And then There's, I think Tin Pan Alley is like supposed to be kind of a gold, but it's like a pale gold, a little bit of green to it. Looks really pretty. So the fractal eyeshadows are really nice. I'm really, really happy with this purchase. And I will do a couple comparisons to some other formulas in a minute. So the things that I'm not that happy about and just haven't worked for me, and I'm actually already returning. I've already contacted customer service. They approved my return, and so I just need to mail them back to them. I got a prepaid slip to send them back, are the matte paints and the shadow stick. So I have little clips that I have filmed over the last few days and last week as I tried these out that I'll insert. So I'll start with the shadow stick first. It is pretty. I do like the color. I like that it's, you know, it's got a little sharpener at the end. Really nice for the price. I'll do a little swatch on the back of my hand. So it's this really beautiful taupe shade that I've been looking for something like this. It's just not not the formula for me. So I will say, I always say this in my reviews, just because it doesn't work for me doesn't mean it won't work for you. So I feel like the weird one, the odd person out when I don't like these. So these seem like universally loved. Like if you look at Ulta, there's a handful of bad reviews that have similar issues that I do and on the website, but generally on YouTube and online, these are beloved. I think the colors are great and I like the idea of them. They just don't work for me. Same with the shadow stick. I feel like the shadow stick has always been kind of mixed reviews, but you can see it's a really beautiful color. The problem is the formula doesn't last. So at least on my eyes, so I have fairly oily eyelids. My face isn't very oily, but my eyelids and my nose can be. So I have to use an eye primer, something like the Urban Decay that blocks the oil. I can't use concealer. Concealer is too creamy, especially the concealers I use. This dried down a lot less. It's kind of pearly metallic. It dried down to a really satin finish, like very not that shiny. And it dried kind of tight, like it tightened on my eyelids with and without the primer. It tightened and like my eyelids felt like they were being like squeezed a little bit, like it was uncomfortable. But I was like, I can deal with this. It's fine. It's not the worst annoying feeling I felt. It's not like a burn. Like I've used some liquid eyeshadows that burn my eyes, like the kimchi ones. This was just like an uncomfortable feeling that I was like, I can deal with this. But then it started to immediately, like within an hour, there was like some patches and it faded horribly. Like I expect there to be a little bit of fading with most shadows, you know, especially if you're wearing it for like 12 hours or something. But this was like, after a few hours, was really faded. And I ended up, I forgot to take a video before I took my shirt off, but I took a video after I took my sweater off and I was careful not to touch my eye makeup, but like, you can't really see the product anymore. It did not last on me. I tried it a few times. It was uncomfortable and didn't last. So this was like a for sure, like, I'm not gonna use this anymore. It's not, I could maybe use it on the inner corner, but if it's gonna fade, what's the point? So, especially this color, I wouldn't really use on my inner corner. So that was an immediate dud. The matte fluid eye paints are kind of a mixed bag. So I've noticed Tentalia just did reviews of most of these, and she said some of them were a little more runny and a little less pigmented, and I definitely noticed that with these two. So the purple is definitely thinner and like feels less pigmented and feels more watery than the gray. The gray I have been able to use, but it is a little bit patchy and it doesn't last again. It looked really faded and bad after a few hours, and I do have some clips of all of these that I'll try to insert. It did not look good. Like 4 hours in, my eyes looked terrible, and I was really hoping that this would be a good base or a good like interesting one and done kind of look, and it is neither of those. I even tried it as a base with the shadow stick, and the shadow stick did not layer on top of it at all. Like it was even less shiny. It was basically, it turned itself into a matte putting it over this. Like there was no shine. So this one I can use, but it takes more work to get it to look nice than I would like, which is why I put in for the refund. But I know some people like Teresa's Dead loves it. And if you have drier eyelids, you might like it. I don't know, because I feel like the people I've seen that like it have normal to dry skin. But I don't know. But longevity is definitely an issue for me. I am not someone that does my makeup just to film. There are people that do that, and sometimes I'll do a look for that. But in general, I'm not wearing my makeup just to film or just to go to a party or go to a bar for a couple hours. I'm doing this to go to work, and I'm gonna be there all day or something. Or go out all day or something. Like, I need it to last. So the fact that after 4 hours it looked horrible is just like an immediate no. The purple was a struggle. It was instantly patchy. If I tried to layer it up because it was so sheer and you could see my eyelid through it, it just lifted and it made it worse. I tried a bunch of things. I could not get the purple to look good anytime that I tried it. I have a video from yesterday where I tried it a couple days ago, and it was like that every time. So I've given up on the purple. I love the color, but the formula just does not work on my eyes. I have seen other people like it. It's just on my eyes, this does not work. And I was hoping maybe it could be used as a base, but even that did not work. And especially if they're not gonna last, like for a base product, I want something that's going to be like the Melt eyeliners or the Lethal eyeliners or the House paints, because I can put them down without a primer and put shadows on top and it'll last all day. I shouldn't have to do primer and multiple layers of it and a shadow. Like, it just did not work. But like I said, I did reach out to customer service and they were very friendly and they were just like, here's a thing to send it back. So I am keeping the lipstick and I am gonna keep the fractal like glitter shadow, and I might get more of both of them, but I now know these are not for me. I was hoping they would be because I love the Haus Labs ones. These are perfect for me. But they're like $25, $24. These are like 16, so these are much cheaper and have much more a variety of colors, but sadly they just did not work. Kind of like the Denasimier, so I would say kind of in the middle. So I know some people, like my friend Kelly at Keep Beauty Real, doesn't like the Haus Labs ones because they're too matte and they dry down too fast, and she just doesn't like how matte they are. But she loves the Denasimier ones because they don't dry as matte. I can't use the Denasimier ones because they don't dry as matte and they feel sticky and tacky, and my lid kept feeling like it was sticking to itself even with another shadow on top. Like, it was just unpleasant. So that was a no-go for me. These don't do that. These do dry fully matte like the Haus Labs ones, but they just feel like they lack, and they dry down pretty fast still, but they feel like they lack pigment. Like, I feel like there's just not as much pigment in the formula as there are in these. Like, these are really concentrated. I need a tiny drop. These I need much more, and I have to layer it, and you can still see my lid. Like, it's just not as opaque and not as much pigment per thing. So you're paying more for this, but like the pigment ratio in the formula just seems higher. So I will do a couple little swatches so you can see. So here's the brown. This is the brown one. Yeah, cocoa. I will often do that much for an entire eye, maybe an eye and a half for a quick smoky eye. And it just, they're very creamy, very pigmented. I can do my whole eye with just that little dot. This, I would, each time I used it, I do like the little paddle, that it's not a squeezy, I like that it's a paddle, but I would put like that much on my lid, or I'd have to build up a lot. Like, if I used a tiny bit, you could see my lid still, so I'd add more, and then it would just kind of lift itself. It didn't layer on itself very well. They did blend together nicely, and they do blend nicely. There's just not enough pigment there. You can see this one's already drying. And this one is now starting to dry too. So the color is really beautiful. The formula just didn't work for me. And I felt like I had to use a lot more to get an opaque, especially with the gray at least. I couldn't get opaque color with the purple, but with the gray I could get opaque, but it took a couple layers and it took more product and more finesse. And I did try both my Trixie brushes, I tried my Sigma brushes, I tried an Odin's eye brush, I tried my rougher brushes, I tried my Sonia G brushes, I tried fingers, nothing worked with the paints on my eyes. So I really I used every brush I could, every technique I could. They just did not work for me. So, and you can see even at there, this is dried down, and this is starting to dry down. I can see my skin through it a little bit. I don't know if that'll show up on camera, but I can see my skin through some of this. So it's just, I see people love them online, and I was really hopeful, but I'm really sad they did not work for me. I am very grateful though that they do have a return policy, because that's $40 that I'm getting back that I would have been out otherwise. And as a unemployed grad student, that's just, not something I want to happen. For the fractal, I did want to show a couple comparisons to that so you can kind of see. This is kind of moussey. You can see it's not as liquidy, it's much more moussey and a little thicker. And I think that's part of why it works better. I will say these are cheaper, but you get not very much product. Like this is 4 milliliters or 0.13 ounces. This is 7 grams and 0.25 ounces. So I think per ounce, this actually works out to a better deal. Same with these. These are the same amount of product. Oh, this is 0.15. So it's a little bit more. But still, you get a lot more with these. And you can just see how sparkly and dimensional that is, but it is a much more different formula. And then I'm gonna put it next to one of the Lisa Eldridge. So this is Annie's. I wasn't actually sure what I grabbed. And you can see they're both, this is also kind of that creamy mousse. So, but it's just less sparkly. And the thing I love about the Lisa Eldridge shadows is that I can blend the edges and have a fully one and done look, where the edges have kind of that matte blended edge look and the middle looks kind of sparkly metallic. This I can't do that as much with. I use something like my bronzer if I want that blurred edge effect. But you can see the consistency is a little closer to the Lisa Eldridge shadow. But as I start to blend it out a little bit, you can see the Lisa Eldridge is just more opaque. So I still on a day-to-day basis prefer these, or the Victoria Beckham or something, which are kind of the consistency of this, like the opacity of this, but with the sparkle of this. So I'm glad I finally tried them, especially because I love this lipstick so much. But I'm really sad that none of these worked for me. But like I said, these might be perfect for you. I've seen a lot of people really love them. So thankfully they do have a good return policy if they don't work out for you, if you buy them from them, or you can buy them from Ulta, and Ulta has a pretty good return policy as well. So that is a definite A+, and I think the customer service has been great. I was very pleasantly surprised with their response when I asked about the lipstick formula and with the returns. So A+ customer service from About Face. And they also seem to be pretty active online, responding to people's TikToks and stuff like that. Like, I really like that they seem engaged with their customer base. So I'm intrigued by the blushes. They were smaller in person than I expected. I think, once again, I'm a large human with big hands, so I picked it up and I was like, this is tiny. The blushes look really pretty, and I do kind of want to try them, and I do want to get more of these and maybe some more of these, but we'll see. But I think I'm gonna, unless they announce a reformulation at some point in the future, I think I'm gonna skip out on the shadow sticks and the matte paints from now on. Okay, so that is everything. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you've tried any of these, because I know I talked to some of my friends on Instagram and stuff, and they were like, oh yeah, I've tried them, I love them. Like, they were shocked. Like, one person was like, you were the only person I've ever not liked these. So I'd be really interested to see if you have tried About Face, what your experience is, what your opinions are. I'd love to know in the comments. Let me know. As always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.